advantaged basis. However, at least you can buy on a tax advantage basis. But the competition that I believe would change the entire marketplace is never going to exist as long as it's only a handful of small businesses. One of the things that this bill does, this is my bill by the way, not quite as thick as theirs. My bill not only says that you can choose to take your employer plan, or you can choose to buy your own. It authorizes the creation of more pools. Your small business with 8 to 10 employees is a pool. You are allowed to create that pool under current federal law. One of the things, if someone chooses not to take insurance from you, they buy in the individual market. The rates are extremely high, and in the individual market, they can give you an exam, pre-screen you, and say, we're going to decline you because you have a pre-existing condition. This bill says, why not allow the creation of more pooling mechanisms? We have the notion in America that the only pooling mechanism that we approve is employers. You tell me why any other legitimate existing organization, not created just to let healthy people in, but a bona fide social institution, couldn't create a pool. Why shouldn't, and my bill allows this, why shouldn't the Arizona State University Alumni Association create a pool and let you choose to buy into that pool? Why shouldn't the Daughters of the American Revolution create a pool and let you buy into that if your wife is a Daughter of the American Revolution? Why shouldn't the Kiwanis International or the Rotary International or all these other organizations that are out there be able to create a pool? Now, you and I would be in the position where we can choose our employer's plan, or the Kiwanis Club plan, because I'm a Kiwanian, we'll say, or the Daughters of the American Revolution plan, because my wife's a Daughter of the American Revolution, or the University of Arizona Alumni Association plan, because I'm a U of A alumni, on and on and on, and give us pools to pick from. The answer, I would suggest to you, is not less choice, is more choice. We need, and by the way, it's been mentioned here today, one of the problems in the individual market is the insurance companies in the individual market have almost a monopoly. In Arizona, there are probably somewhere between 4 and 8, maybe less, companies offering plans in the individual market. They have a monopoly. You and I can't shop. Years ago, I introduced a bill and dropped it that said you could write a plan and qualify it under the laws of one state. Let's say you qualified it under the laws of Illinois. And you meet every requirement of the laws of Illinois, including their benefit mandates. Benefit mandates are a huge part of the cost going up. Where do benefit mandates come from? The same politicians who are railing against the insurance companies about the cost of health care in America today voted for all those benefit mandates. There are 1,800 separate benefit mandates imposed by state law around the nation. What's a benefit mandate? Well, some states mandate that you must cover aromatherapy. Some states mandate that you must cover, if you're going to sell an insurance policy in their state, you must cover acupuncture. Some states mandate that you must cover mental health parity. You must cover drug abuse treatment. You must cover hair prostheses. Policies are told, insurance companies are told, if you want to sell in this state, you must cover this entire list. Well, that's like saying, you may be able to afford a Yugo, but the government's going to come along and say, no, Hugo, you can't sell in Arizona. We'll only allow Mercedes to be sold in Arizona because Mercedes have better airbags than you do. And so the government has said to the insurance industry, you can't sell a scaled down policy that doesn't cover everything from soup to nuts, that just covers the basics. We won't even allow you to sell it in this state. So my bill said you could file in one state, meet financial solvency requirements and an appeals process created at the federal level, and then you could sell in all 50 states. Do you know what that would do to the individual insurance market in Arizona? It would, instead of meaning there are 4 or 5 companies selling here, there'd be 50 or 60 or 100 companies selling here, and you and I could get that. We can, in fact, fix this market. Let me go back to one more point I made before. Ask yourself, if the cost of auto insurance isn't going up at 3 times the rest of the economy, if the cost of life insurance isn't going up 3 times faster than the rest of the economy, if the cost of homeowners insurance isn't going up at 3 times faster than the rest of the economy, if the cost of shirts isn't going up at 3 times greater than the rest of the economy, but the cost of healthcare is, shouldn't somebody ask why? Now, some of the why, I want to suggest to you, is technology. You know what? I've had heart bypass surgery. Medical technology and drug technology is keeping me alive. That costs some money. But remember those cancer rates, we're doing better than the rest of the world. But I'm telling you that a big part of the why health insurance is going up so much faster is there is no competition. The health insurance companies have a monopoly.
I got to sit down for
You can fix the monopoly by fixing the tax code and letting you and me buy health insurance on the same tax advantage basis as the companies can. And then we can force them to compete for our business. And by the way, you hear my colleagues on the other side of the aisle tell a story about, it's outrageous. A particular woman had a healthcare condition and her insurance company canceled her policy. They want to write a law to prohibit canceling of policies. You know what would happen if she could hire and fire them? If they even threatened her to fire her company, or if they threatened to cancel the policy of one woman, and she wrote every other policyholder and said, hey, this company's thinking about canceling my policy because I got sick, every single one of their patients would say to themselves, or customers would say to themselves, wow, I don't want them doing that to me. And so the people would fire the insurance company before the insurance company could let the people go. That's a market. Power. Money gives you power. Why should the government have that power? Oh, here we go. He must have been listening. John McCain is having a town hall on August 25th. The note I was just getting says the place is to be determined. Please check with his office. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congressman, let you know up front, I'm probably not going to agree with a whole lot of what you said.
That's fair. Remember, we said free speech. You're entitled to express your opinion.
Well, the point I was thinking about this entire time is that when I went to school, that was a public option. I didn't go to a private school. We have a public option police force. We have a public option military. We have a public option fire department. How come healthcare is that much either more or less important than any of those three?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'll answer the question. He said, yeah, I'll repeat it. One of the hot issues in this debate is why shouldn't we have a public, that is government-run healthcare plan to pick from in order to keep the private market competitive, okay? And he illustrated the point with some good points. He said, look, for education, I had a public option. I could have gone to a private college, or I could have gone to a public college, and I went to a public college. I went to the University of Arizona. He said we have a public option police department. That is, for the most part, we get our police protection from the government. And he said we have a public option military. The nation is protected largely by a public Army and Navy and Marine Corps. So why is healthcare different? I'll answer your question very directly. Two things. One, most of the examples you gave were public safety or national defense. When the Founding Fathers created this nation, they said those were the first obligation of government. And so they said they're a government function. And I think they should be a government function. I want the public to pay for my police officers, and I want that done by the government. I want the public to pay for my army, and I want that done by the government. Second, we had a tradition in this country believing in universal education. And so we created public schools. That's perfectly fine. But let me flip the question on you. If we need a public option to keep the health insurance industry honest, or healthcare honest, do we need a public option for fast food? I mean, right now, I can only go to McDonald's and Jack in the Box and private sector competitors. Do we need a public option for, I hate to say this one, the automobile industry?
We have it.
Do we need a public option for suits? You bought that shirt and those pants, and the shirt looks a little wrinkled to me. Shouldn't you have had the option to buy a publicly produced or a government-produced shirt? I mean, I just think that it is a slippery slope to go down the road saying we need a public option. Do we need a public option for life insurance, for homeowners insurance? Do we need a public option for auto insurance? It is a debate. I don't think.
Most important, all the examples you gave were all voluntary. not the government telling the